What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome back to World of Warships, where today we're going to be taking a look at a replay sent in by Archer 6155, and he is taking out the Tier 8 American cruiser, the New Orleans. But before we get too much into the action, I do want to just do my little channel update on this video as well, because I know some of my World of Warships subscribers and viewers may not watch my Armored Warfare content, so you may not have seen my update on Monday. Basically, the long and short of it is that there's going to be a drop-off in content on my channel in the coming weeks and months. Basically, a year ago I lost my job, and since then I've been looking for permanent, proper employment, which is why I had a bit of extra time to focus on my channel and do a video Monday through Friday. I have now gotten a new job, which I will have started by the time you see this video. This video should go live my time in the evening on Wednesday, and Wednesday was my first day. So by the time you see this video, by the time it goes live, I would have gotten home from my first day's work at my new job. And that's going to mean less time. I'm going to have to get up earlier in the morning, go to bed earlier at night. There's going to be more commuting. So I'm just probably not going to have as much time to do this. So I don't know how many videos I'm going to be able to do. I don't know what kind of schedule I'm going to be able to do. For the time being, it's just going to have to be I will upload when I can. It might be one video a week, it might be two, might be three. We'll just have to see. But I'm going to do my best to try and make sure there is still a good amount of content going up on my channel, but I do have to figure out how to work it around the new job. But by all means, please continue to send in your World of Warships replays. It will help me out. It's obviously easier to just spend 20 minutes recording the gameplay from your replay and the commentary for it, than it is to spend several hours trying to get a good game by myself, or my own good game. It might just take a little bit longer to obviously feature your replay, but I will still do my best. But anyways, we're now getting into the action. He's got a Benson not that far away. I think it was just over 10 kilometers. Put some shots in. Unfortunately, it was armor piercing, but he did get one hit, and he was detected, but he has not taken any fire yet. Turned in towards the torpedoes, but they ran out of range before they got anywhere close to him, and you can just see the Benson's popping in and out of its smoke, and unfortunately he's just not getting sight of the destroyer for long enough to get a proper shot off. But there's a hell of a lot of torpedoes going on in front of us. Thankfully, a lot of them are allied torpedoes heading away from us. But this Mogami is actually going to fire another spread now. And I think that probably gave Archer a little heart attack over there. I mean, right across his bow. But I mean, that guy at least knew what he was doing, and he knew there wasn't much risk. Here comes some more torpedoes. Again, no doubt this was quite scary, but he throws it into reverse, I imagine, and starts turning in towards them. And he is able to get the nose turned in time, and no harm, no foul. Enemy New Mexico popping up briefly on the other side of all these smoke screens. But again, not enough of a look at it to get a proper bearing on it and take the lead in that. There's the Benson once again at 8 kilometers. Fires. There might have been a bit of a replay bug because he led in a way that didn't seem like he should have led there, but probably a replay bug. Archer is actually very lucky that I'm even able to feature this replay, because when I went to go and record it, I'd been holding off on updating, and there's the New Mexico, and there's a Pensacola which has collided with the New Orleans. He's going to try and put some shots into him. But when I went to record this video, my World of Warships wouldn't work, and it turned out the files had gotten corrupted or whatever, because the hard drive that it was on is giving problems. Unfortunately, the Pensacola is reversing, so misses most of the shots, but Archer leads. It gives him some lead now, because you can see he's starting to move forward, and we're just going to have to wait and see how those shots do. And pretty damn good. 3 citadels and a single hit, so that's going to be a big chunk of the Pensacola's health removed. But I'd held off updating because I still had some replays to record, and with this problem I had to re-download the entire client, and there you can see the Pensacola is now down to 7,000 hit points, but I had to re-download the whole client, which obviously then meant I got the latest version, and I wasn't sure if this replay was going to work, but thankfully it seems to be. But anyways, he put a salvo into the New Mexico, 8 hits I think it was, 4,000 odd damage, gets another 3 hits. No damage done that time. He is firing armor piercing. And the one thing that I did notice with regards to Archer in this video was his ammo selection and swapping between rounds was, I think, maybe it's something he could improve on a little bit. 2 more Citadels on that Pensacola, and he finishes him off for his first kill of the match. But you'll notice later on, I mean, personally, I'm fully aware that you can do good damage to battleships with armor piercing from like 8-inch cruiser guns like the New Orleans is fitted with. But I mean, normally I'd go high explosive first, try and get them burning before I even considered using AP. But also later on, I think you will also notice he'll be firing armor piercing at destroyers as well, and just not quite switching over as quickly as perhaps he could have. New Orleans, a little bit of replay bug lag. I imagine it's the replay. Gives it a good amount of lead, 16 kilometers away, pretty much fairly close to max range, I would imagine. Shots are on the way, but unfortunately it looks like the New Orleans saw them coming and began slowing down and was able to miss all of the shots. He's going to fire off another salvo. Hatsuharu at 10.4 kilometers. Doesn't look like he's going to pay much attention to him just yet. There's the New Mexico still at 14.2. Take the lead, and he's going to fire another salvo of armor piercing. You see, that's somewhere where I would have just been switching over to high explosive. And again, now here's, I think this is what I'm talking about, Benson. I mean, he is nearly reloaded with armor piercing, so fine, go for it. And in fact, he actually does switch over. So maybe the first time I watched this replay, I was not quite paying attention, but there we go. Anyway, he switched over to high explosive, but he missed it with the first salvo. And there's the New Mexico 15, 16, going to fire off the salvo, and now he's going to stick to high explosive, it seems. So yeah, maybe Archer, I do apologize if I was completely wrong, but that was something I'd noticed in the first video, but as I said, could have just been I looked down at the wrong time. 6 hits, gets a fire, does some decent damage, and just waiting for next target to shoot at. Interesting story, one of my dogs is called Archer. Lana and Archer, and if you are familiar with the TV show Archer, yes, they are both named after characters from the show. So moving in, now he's being a little bit more aggressive, heading towards the enemy fleet. It seems got some support at least. Unfortunately, things have fallen apart for his team a little bit right now. They've only managed to sink a destroyer and a cruiser, while the enemy team has actually managed to sink 2 battleships, a cruiser and 2 destroyers. So they are significantly outnumbered right now. And shots going in on the New Mexico, 2 hits. He's switching back over to armor piercing, and the New Mexico collided with the destroyer, and the destroyer then got killed by one of Archer's teammates. But I mean, 3-6, enemy team leading by nearly 300 points, not doing too well. 6 hits for 5,000 damage on the New Mexico. Reloading, putting another salvo down range and seeing if maybe we can get another good salvo like that one. 6 hits, 8 hits, 4,500 damage, and someone has managed to set the New Mexico on fire. Other New Mexico on pretty low health. He's going to fire off a full salvo. Got the Mogami here backing him up, but I mean, this guy's on 4,000 hit points. Archer's shells all land a little bit too far forward, but this guy is flooding, and it doesn't look like he's got too much longer to live. And that will be the first, if that guy is, then there we go. And he was actually the first battleship the enemy team has lost. I think they've still got, let's have a quick look here, because we didn't actually go over the teams earlier. They've still got their Colorado and another New Mexico, whereas both teams had a Colorado and a New Mexico. The enemy team just had one additional New Mexico. But anyways, they've pulled it back quite quickly, actually. It's now 5-6. 7 hits on the New Mexico. Not a whole lot of damage. That salvo at this angle probably would have been a bit better with high explosive. And torpedoes coming in from one of their destroyers. They've still got 2. What are they? It's a Fubuki and a Hatsuharu. and neither of them are spotted, so they could both be on this side of the map. And there's actually a enemy cruiser close range. There we go. It's an Atlanta at less than 9 kilometers. This is not good at all. We all know the Atlanta's ferocious rate of fire, and it can really wreck even higher tier cruisers at this kind of range. Shots going in, 3 hits, only 1400 damage. That's the other problem I've found with these Atlantas, is because they do have relatively thin armor. It's quite easy with 8-inch cruiser guns to overpen if you don't hit them just right. But those shots were much better, 6 hits and a Citadel, and he manages to get the kill. And there's the Hatsuharu. Just a few seconds left on the reload. And unfortunately, again, armor piercing. And was that the replay bug? Because it looked like he fired when the Hatsuharu had already started turning away. New Mexico is getting quite close to that. Hatsuharu has put down smoke. And his team has actually started to cap. They've got one of their destroyers is in the enemy cap zone, and there's the other destroyer. So only one destroyer on this side of the map. And it is this Hatsuharu hiding out in his cloud of smoke. And there he is, 6.8 kilometers. And I imagine, yeah, there's a replay bug again, and shots going in, armor piercing shots, but 2 hits even though they were overpens, it was enough to finish him off. Torpedoes coming in, turns hard to starboard and manages to thread the needle and avoid both of the incoming torpedoes. So now we are on to the New Mexico and firing out armor piercing, and let's see how these shots do. 2 hits for 1500. New Mexico looks like he's focusing on the Mogami. Down to 7,740 hit points remaining. 2 hits for another 1500 damage. This guy is not going to last much longer. His team has done a fantastic job to bring it back 7-7, and in fact his team is now in the lead in terms of points. Turns his ship a little bit to get all guns on target. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead quite well enough. These shots are always quite tricky in my opinion. So the shots miss, but the New Mexico is down. It looks like it was, what's that, 105th ODST. Mikhail Kutuzov finished off the enemy battleship, and now his team is in the lead with, in terms of ships numbers, 4 remaining on the enemy team versus 5, but they still have their battleship, they still have their Colorado. Enemy New Orleans sighted at 19 kilometers and closing this little fleet that has now fought up the right flank of the map and has survived, is now all moving together towards the enemy cap to finish off the last remaining ships on the enemy team. New Orleans is now within firing range, and Archer just asking if anyone knows where the last destroyer is, and looks like he is about to be hit by Allied cruiser. I think, was that the Kutuzov or the Mogami? Looks like can't quite see enough. But anyways, New Orleans is now within 13 kilometers. Started to open fire, and he was only detected once he started shooting. So this poor guy probably had no idea he was even here. This guy is turning away. Hunter 159 is turning away, giving a little bit more of a broadside, but he immediately starts turning back in. He's in a tricky position now, because if he keeps going like he's going, he's eventually going to be overwhelmed by all the ships here. But if he turns away, he's likely to just get the shit citadeled out of him before he can actually make a 180-degree turn and run away. Shots in from Archer, 5 hits, but only 920 damage done because it was quite angled. And there he's turning again. Is it going to be enough? Doesn't look like it. Fires another salvo, but unfortunately gets set on fire. 3 hits for only 460 damage, and there's the Fubuki sitting pretty still in his smoke cloud. No, he is actually moving, just the replay bug being a dick again. So just waiting, and now we can see we're getting a much nicer shot on him from the side here. Shots in, 2 citadels, 12,000 odd damage, finish him off for his 4th kill of the match. Now he's switching over to high explosive for this destroyer that is right around the corner. 5.5 kilometers it looked like. Again, a little bit of a replay bug. The destroyer sitting still on our screen. There's a Pensacola as well, 13 kilometers. Not a whole lot of hit points remaining. Destroyer has now cloaked itself. And there he is, back again. Fortunately, we just can't get a bead on him long enough to actually, take an accurate shot. Firing off a full salvo at the Pensacola, and of course, as we do that, the Fubuki, we have a decent look at him. 4 hits on the Pensacola, 2 incapacitations, and a fire. Nearly ready to fire again, or he is ready to fire again, just holding his shot, no doubt waiting for this destroyer. But it looks like he's not going to continue waiting, and he fires off front guns at the Pensacola, turns to get the rear turret on target, fires that one off, shots in. Unfortunately, they kind of land a bit short and splice, but he does manage a single hit. 902 hit points remaining, that poor Pensacola. More shots going in. And is he going to be able to finish it off? No. The Megami gets it. This RG Drieg or Drag or something. Still detected that Fubuki, or whatever it was a Fubuki, I think. Double check. Yeah, Fubuki is still around. So we do have to be careful. There could be torpedoes in the water at any moment. Keeping an eye out on the starboard side. And just waiting to see if he pops up. 10-8, him and the Fubuki and the Colorado are the last remaining ships, but I think the Colorado is AFK. He hasn't been seen, he hasn't done anything. At least I don't think he's been seen, but he hasn't gotten any kills. And if memory serves, they are soon going to spot him sitting still. So again, just waiting to see if we can find this pesky destroyer while we head towards the cap. His catapult fighter is in the air, and there's torpedo warnings go off, and it's this Megami once again launching torpedoes very close to our little New Orleans. Obviously just trying to put down a wall of torpedoes to cover off that side of their approach. And there's the Colorado, 38,000 hit points remaining at 17 kilometers. And I'm fairly safe to say he's been AFK. And here comes some torpedoes from the front, so we know the Fubuki is directly ahead of us and not on the side. So unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to get to see him, but all 3 ships have moved within the cap circle, and we have started capping. I'm going to start firing our forward guns at the Colorado and see if we can set him on fire, get some extra free damage. Benson, 5 hits for about 4,000 damage. Benson's right with us. Hoping, hopefully he'll get a little bit ahead again, so that if there are more torpedoes, he'll give us a little bit of extra warning. 5 hits, 3,200 damage, sets him on fire in the sort of rear portion of the ship, so he switches targets, or at least fires a little bit more forward to try and see if he can get a second fire burning. And he does indeed 4 hits, Confederate, and he sets another fire, so now it's dead center. See if we can get 3 fires going. And he is going to leave the cap circle here, which is a little bit risky because there's only a minute left. And I don't really think he intended to do this. I think he was just trying to get all guns on target and then kind of messed up a little bit, but I don't know if he actually ended up leaving the cap circle. I think he did. So there's a 3rd fire. So that did kind of reset the cap slightly, I believe. But 40 seconds to go. He gets the kill, Kraken unleashed. And all that remains is that last little destroyer. And here comes a Farragut. Will the Farragut be able to get a line of sight on this bugger? He's not even spotted anymore, so who knows where this last remaining destroyer has gone. 17 seconds left, they've almost capped, and I believe that is the end of the match. I don't think they managed to find him. And I mean, even if the timer does run out, they do obviously have more points. So it didn't really matter with him leaving the cap. I just forgot there that I was being a little bit of an idiot. So, at the end of the day, it is a victory for his team. And very well played by Archer 6155, earning himself 231,000 credits, 2,000 experience. Kraken Unleashed and Confederates getting 118 target hits, 5 incapacitations, 5 kills, 5 fires, and 8 Citadel hits. Coming first place on the team with base XP of 2015. Second place was the Kutuzov with 1451. And the Fubuki on the enemy team managed to come first place on their team with a base XP of 1151. In total, he managed to do 71,740 armor piercing damage, 20,234 from high explosive, and a further 16,287 from fires, giving him a grand total of 108,261 damage done. So, Archer, thank you very much for sending in this replay. I enjoyed watching it, and I hope you guys did as well. But that is about it for this video. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit the thumbs up button down below, and consider subscribing for more World of Warships, Armored Warfare, and a few other things that are thrown into the mix from time to time. Also, be sure to check the description down below for the email address that you guys can use to send in your epic, awesome, amazing World of Warships replays. But as I said, that is it from me. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator 458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.